Welcome to another episode of Vyakhya. Today from our bookshelf, we pick a timeless classic, O Captain, My Captain by Walt Whitman. Whitman is often regarded as the most significant poet of the 19th century. Also a humanist, he was a part of the transition between transcendentalism and realism, incorporating both views in his works. With a plethora of widely celebrated works, frontlined by leaves of grass to his name, he is often regarded as the national poet of America. He played a major role in establishing the image of America as the land of freedom. He believed that there is a vital symbiotic relationship between the poet and society. He quoted that the proof of a poet is that his country absorbs him as affectionately as he has absorbed it. A poet cannot be an island. He must exist in front of an audience. And the audience can only ever exist as the backdrop of a poet. The poet entertains, motivates, and at times critiques the audience, just as the audience does to the poet. Whitman believed in this beautiful dichotomy in the world of art. Abraham Lincoln and his ideals were a strong influence on Whitman. Though they never met, Lincoln and Whitman were each working towards a goal they shared: national unity. Lincoln's goal as the President of the United States was to preserve the Union, and through his poetry, Whitman too promoted fraternity within America. After Lincoln's unfortunate demise, Whitman produced a series of elegies on him, including one of his best works and our topic today, O Captain, My Captain. O Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every rack. The prize we sought is won. The port is near, the bells I hear, the people all exulting, while follow eyes the steady keel, the vessel grim and daring. But oh heart, 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 oh the bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my captain lies, fallen, cold and dead.
In the poem, Whitman portrays Lincoln as the captain and himself as a sailor. On the ship of a dream-like united America, the foundations of it shook as the Civil War raged. A fearful trip this ship managed to survive. His brother was captured by the Confederates. Whitman himself volunteered as a nurse in the army hospitals. His melancholy, the plight of wounded soldiers, and the heaps of amputated limbs was mirrored by the sailor, who was feeling fearful and distressed. The ship has weathered every rack. The prize we sought is won. The US and its people may face many physical and emotional storms during the journey. The prize was won. Slavery was abolished. The country was united. All the people celebrated as the war came to an end. But still, something was not right. Whitman goes on to describe a scene where the captain is lying on the deck, bleeding from the wounds which had endured during the trip. Catching a glimpse of his captain's dire state, Whitman's heart beats ever faster in tandem with his repeated cries of, "Oh heart, heart, heart." On this note of grief, Whitman continues,
O Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bells. Rise up, for you the flag is flung, for you the bugle trills, for you bouquets and ribboned wreaths, for you the shores are crowding, for you they call the swaying mass, their eager faces turning. Hey Captain, dear father, this arm beneath your head, it is some dream that on the deck you've fallen cold and dead.
the sailor is in denial. He refuses to accept that his captain is dead. The captain whom he admired and respected so highly. The captain who had braved all the perils of the trip and steered the ship to safety, much like Whitman and his fellow countrymen, who struggled to cope with the untimely death of Lincoln. The sailor asked the captain to rise up. He points at the crowd gathered at the harbor, cheering and welcoming the victors. He asked the captain to rise up and join their celebrations, but the captain remains motionless in his arms. In these moments of despair, the sailor addresses the cat's father, as if confessing his admiration he holds in the last moments he had. He despised the practice of slavery. He was against racial discrimination. In Lincoln, he saw an ideal president, a leader, a role model for the country and its people. His death was a powerful blow to all that he had envisioned. His intense feelings came as an expression through the pen, through which he forged this masterpiece.
My captain does not answer. His lips are pale and still. My father does not feel my arm. He has no pulse nor will. The ship is anchored safe and sound, its voyage closed and done. From fearful trip the victor ship comes in with object won. Exult, O shores, and ring, O bells, but I with mournful tread walk the deck my captain lies, fallen, cold and dead.
The sailor no longer speaks to the captain, for his words fall on the dead ears. He bemoans the dichotomy, how the ship is safe in the harbour, but the captain who steered it to safety couldn't see it. My father does not feel my arm. He has no pulse nor will. The use of the phrase nor will here shows us that Lincoln would not have harboured any regrets before his death. Throughout the ruthless storm, Lincoln was right there at the helm of the ship, fighting alongside his fellow soldiers. He fought till the very end, until the ship saw the clear skies. And when he died, he knew the ship would survive and go on to conquer many more seas. It was through this verity Whitman tried to find his own solace. The sailor then stands at the deck of the anchored ship, urging the others to go forth and celebrate their triumphant return. But he stays, walking the deck, witnessing the afterglow of a setting sun, the sun that has guided men for a lifetime, but who must now rest. Whitman shows us how grieving is natural, and that it even becomes a necessity at times. But the fact that he's grieving alone is symbolic of a nation moving forward. A nation should be able to move on with or without their leader.